Welcome to another Wreck2resto episode. On today's episode, I carry on with the HK Prem and I'm going to get it bolted up to the rotisserie. So follow along, see how I do that. The hoist makes it a lot easier to be able to get it all bolted up, but it's something I can do by myself. So I'll get stuck into that. Before I do that, there's a couple of things left to do on the body to get it prepped, but you'll see what I need to do. Yesterday I got a bit of time out in the shed, so I pretty well finished off this rear Beaver panel section. Where it's welded, I've just scuffed it back just with a wire wheel, just put a coat of zinc primer on it for now just to stop it rusting, but that'll get stripped off and put an epoxy down the track. I'll show you what I've done. So this is spot welded the whole way along the top edge, and then it's I've used the MIG welder through here, spot welded through here. There's a few plugs all down here, and it's also plug welded on the underside. So both of these sides are all finished off. The spot welder worked really well. One thing I found is after every couple spots, I just hit it with a wire wheel just to keep the tips nice and clean. But the steel that you're spot welding also needs to be clean, bare steel. There was a couple where I tried to do it where there was still a little bit of epoxy left, and it just did not like it at all. Hit that with a wire wheel, made sure it was nice and clean, and it worked really well. So just had to take time. So pretty well 3 seconds on, and I left it for sort of about 10 seconds in between spots, and it didn't overheat or anything like that. So saved me a lot of time and a lot of plug welding. Other thing I've been playing around with just to get a bit of an idea of how I want the car to look down the track. Probably going to run a couple different sets of wheels on this thing, but I've got a set of 15x8s, just steel wheels that have got a set of two 5560 drag radials on them. So I've just chucked them underneath. This car hasn't been tubbed yet, so it's hitting the dog leg and also at the back, and it's pretty well hard up against the tub. But once I get the tubs done and a bit of clearancing done on the dog leg, they should fit pretty good. I want this car to be pretty low, so I want to make sure I've got all the clearance. If that means doing a couple tunnel mods just so that the drive shaft doesn't hit down here, then that's something I'll address when I get to it. But yeah, that sort of slammed look with nice big fat tyres is sort of what I want to go for with this. I might end up with a different set of wheels down the track, whether it's some centre lines or some welds or just something, but if I can make these ones fit, then the same tyre size and wheel size I'll be able to run throughout. But no, it looks pretty good with the big tyres under it. So first on the agenda, let's get this subframe off. So I've already popped the lower bolts out, so it's just sitting on these top bolts at the moment. So I'll buzz these off with the impact, drop the subframe off, and it's ready to go onto the rotisserie. Normally what I do is these end up being a little bit back heavy when you take the subframe off. I'm just going to get a ratchet strap and go from the front hoist arm through the body, just so that when I go to take the front end off, it doesn't want to tip back off the hoist. Right, I'll get set up and get started. The pivot point that I've got set up for this was set up for the ute. The sedans, their centre point's a little bit different. So when I get it up on the rotisserie, I might have to just have a bit of a play around with that until I can get it to spin nice. Just getting ready to bolt this rear bracket for the rotisserie onto the back of this Beaver panel. So where the bolts come through for the bumper bar brackets is where the rotisserie bolts to. These Beaver panels, where the number plate sits, is actually further out than where the bumpers go. So if I was just to bolt this flat up, it would put pressure in the middle here, and there'd be a gap on the outside. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make up some spaces just to space this whole bracket out 25 mil, and then that should give me about 5 mil clearance in the middle here, just so that it's not going to put too much pressure in the center there. So I'll just show you, I've just prepped a couple bits. So I've just cut some 50 by 50 box in half, and that gives me my 25 mil spacer. And then these pads here are actually what's going to sit on the Beaver panel, and then the bolts will just come through. So I'll just get the welder set up. I'll quickly zap these on and I'll keep going. Just got them tacked on. I just want to test fit it on the car, make sure that they're all going to work out okay before, probably just get a couple stitches on them. They don't have to be crazy strong or anything, it's only just a packer. So I'll try this out on the car. Should work out pretty good. So these bolts are too long, so I need to go chase up some slightly shorter bolts. So I'll do that, get it all bolted up. It's time to get it on the rotisserie after that. This position here is just a complete guess at the moment for the pivot point. So once I get it all bolted up, I'll see what it's like. If it's too bottom heavy or too top heavy, then I can either go up or down, depending. But we'll play around with that once we get this bottom beam in. All right, I'll drop the hoist out of the way and we'll see how that balance point's going to work out. Just put the straps on the front just so that I can control it a bit, but I'll give this a whirl. But I think I can work with that. So I could move this either underneath, but I think if I go underneath this, it's probably going to be the opposite. But I can easily get that up on its side by myself and put the straps on. I think I'll leave it at that. If it annoys me too much down the track, then I can change it. Come this way with this strap. And I should be able to pull it over. As I thought, now it's too top heavy. So it's relatively easy to swing back to the center point, but puts the whole thing a couple 100 mil higher into the air as well. I think I prefer it the other way. All right, I won't bore you with that, but I'll quickly get this set up. I'll reverse it back to where it was, and I'll leave it at that. So as you can see, there's a couple of repairs on the floor from where it's hit speed bumps and whatever. So they'll just need a bit of sorting out and panel beating. There's a couple small rust holes, driver's footwell, passenger footwell. So they'll just need a couple front sections doing on them. And there's a couple little pinholes around the fuel tank and sort of the common areas, spring hangers. And that's it. So as floors go on HKTGs, this is probably one of the better ones I've ever seen. Obviously there's rust in other areas, but the floor is really, really good. So you can see what I was talking about. I've just done a few plug welds just to hold it in place. So I need to go through now, and while it's in this position, it's a lot easier to weld than laying on the ground or sitting under the hoist and doing it upside down. So I can just take my time, get all of these welded up, get them ground back flush again. So that'll be the first repair to do. And then I can start making my way forward, moving forwards. Pretty successful day. Managed to get the prem up on the rotisserie so I can carry on with the repairs. So you can see behind me, got these bits on the bottom of the Beaver panel. So much easier to get in and weld this like this. So that'll be the first thing I carry on with, and yeah, I can just work my way forwards from there. If you're enjoying what I'm doing on the HK Prem, we'll link the whole build series so far, so have a look in the whichever corner it is. We'll link it up there, and yeah, you can catch up with all the other stuff. Obviously previously I've been doing a heap of work on the HG Ute, so if you're interested in other rust repair content, go and check that one out as well. But thanks again for watching, appreciate the support, and we'll catch you on the next one.